Right now, you may be spending a huge amount of time on your ads, crafting that message, getting those images to look just right, getting that targeting absolutely pinpointed. But have you considered that all of the time and effort that you're putting into these ads right now may be completely wasted? People might not even be seeing these ads, and it's not because they aren't being delivered by the ad platforms, but because of banner blindness. Banner blindness is a huge issue with ads because the platforms that you're paying could be totally unperforming based on banner blindness alone. So today I'm going to talk to you about exactly what banner blindness is, why it happens, the common blind spots that you can expect, and how to beat those blind spots. My name is Trent Kennelly. I'm a marketing strategist, and on this channel I talk about all the things that you can do to improve your business through marketing, sales, and analytics. So if that sounds good to you and you're excited, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel if you're into it, comment and let me know how you think this might be affecting you right now or what effects you've seen from banner blindness in your own ads. I would love to know. But until then, let's get started. All right, so what is banner blindness? Banner blindness is the phenomenon that causes people to ignore the fact that your ad even exists in their eyesight when they're looking at it, okay? So let's pretend for a second, just by way of example, that you as the advertiser have decided to use Google display ads. So Google display ads appear on partner websites that either meet the demographic that you've picked or that you have specifically chosen to advertise your business on, okay? Those ads are gonna come up looking something like this. You've seen this 100 million times, right? I mean, you know instinctively what this is. Do you ever look at those ads? Probably not. You're not probably going to look at it. The only reason that you're looking at the ads right now is because I'm telling you to look at those ads. It is very, very common that people don't notice these ads on the page. They know that they're there, but they just don't pay attention to them, and they couldn't tell you what things were being advertised after they looked at that website. So really, to just drive this point home quickly, let's look at this study from the Nielsen-Norman group that was done a few years ago on eye tracking through websites. We're gonna look at a few different things, specific eye tracking, where people rested their eyes, that sort of stuff. On this particular page, what you're looking at is a simple Google search, and this is where people's eyes went while they were on this page. We all know where the ads are on a Google search, and we don't look at them. We're looking at the more organic stuff, right? The conversion rate as a result is way lower on ads than it used to be because nobody is looking on these ads. Let's look at another real quick. So here you can see the about page of a website. So this is a different view. What we were looking at before was how the eye moves across the page. Now we're looking at how long does the eye linger in a certain section. The redder it is, the longer that the eyes linger in that section. The bluer or greener or cooler it looks, the less people linger in that section, up to invisible where they don't even look at it, okay? So you can very clearly see that people are looking at the text on this page. They are not looking at the images on the top or anything that looks like an ad, right? So there's that box over there that says letter of support for the company. That is not looked at basically at all because it looks kind of like an ad. We are so hardwired about this that if we even get a whiff of something being an ad, we don't look at it again. We're not going to return to that section. We just ignore it. So why does this happen? Well, there are two possible reasons. The first reason is that we're accustomed to it. Here's the thing. People really just don't like ads. They don't like the feeling of being sold to, but that doesn't mean that ads don't work. It just means that we have to work harder to grab people's attention. Ads online have been around for long enough that we're used to their specific locations and we ignore them more easily than we did 15 or 20 years ago. Second possibility is selective attention. So selective attention is a psychological phenomenon where people tend to ignore certain things in favor of focusing on other things. It's subconscious decision making on what we're going to focus on and what we're not. So a great example of this. I'm going to show you this video really quickly. I'll put the source of the video in the comments. I want you to count the number of basketball passes between people who are wearing white shirts. Go. Now, when you watch that video, you probably counted the number of passes between people who are wearing white shirts. Did you notice the gorilla? Yes, there was a gorilla. So let's go back, let's watch it again. You can see that gorilla come into the screen, pound its chest, and leave again. If you need to, go rewind and watch the first one again. I promise you it's there, okay? This is because we were told, focus on the people with white shirts, passing the basketball to the exclusion of all other things. Now, this is not restricted to direct commands. It's not always that we have to be told to selectively pay attention to one thing or another. Selective attention is natural within us. So if you come to a blog, you're probably there to read that blog, and you're less interested in the ads to the sides or in the middle of that blog. And so you're probably going to ignore them in favor of focusing on the blog itself. Let's look at a few common ad placements by big advertisers just to understand this a little bit better. Let's talk about Google search first. Now, I want to be clear, Google has way more than just search, like display network and maps and all that sort of stuff. We'll talk about display network with images and GIFs and videos and all that sort of stuff a little bit later, because Facebook also has a display network, so I want to put those together. So let's just focus on search for now, okay? Google search has for a very long time, like 20 years or something like that, placed ads in almost every single search result. They used to be on the top and the right sides of every single search result, but now they've just put them at the top. They change from 1 to 4 or more ads every single time, just depending on how many people are bidding, what the search result is, etc. But they're very easy to identify because it will say in bold ad. So you'll see that ad, you'll know where it is, you skip down below the ads to get to that organic content. Okay, so it's very, very obvious. So how do you grab attention when there's only text to use in Google search ads? Well, I'm gonna be honest, these solutions only go as far as the user's eye is willing to wander off of the normal path, which means that this really comes down to two things: understanding that target audience extremely well and writing to that audience. So if that audience responds better to pleasure writing, then you want to write towards pleasure. If they understand avoiding pain, you want to write towards avoiding pain. You can check out this video for a lot more detail on pain and pleasure and other copywriting techniques. But just understand for now that if you clearly understand that audience, it's going to make your life so much easier when it comes to writing to those pain and pleasure points. So let's talk about Facebook ads now. So Facebook, like Google, has display network and off-network ads and all that sort of stuff. So let's not talk about that just yet. That'll be coming up in just a minute. Right now, let's talk about specifically on the Facebook site, okay? This is a little different whether you're on mobile or on desktop. On mobile, you're not gonna see sidebar ads because there's no room for them. On desktop, there will be ads in the sidebar, but the effect of those is gonna be the effect of the sidebar ads on a blog. They're probably going to get ignored, okay? Most people want to use those mid-roll or mid-feed ads so that you're scrolling through your feed and suddenly there's an ad, okay? If you know how to write to your audience, then writing like them will very likely pull them into this post before they even realize it's an ad. You're going to see that there is promoted over at the top, but that notification is small enough that it isn't the first thing that you're going to notice. You're more likely to notice the text or the imagery on the ad. So, things to focus on here: imagery or video and copy. It's proven that people are more likely to read longer when there's a personal connection and when there's some compelling story. You can check out this video for more information on marketing storytelling, but it's really all about grabbing attention. Bright colors of the images or text on those images is what's going to make people do a double take to bring them back into the ad and get them more interested, or a video that asks a question in those first 3 seconds. So a great example of this would be this Parker Walbeck video that I'm going to show you right here. It's showing aspiring filmmakers what info they're definitely going to want to know right off the bat, what mistakes that other people have made, and how this product that he's selling can help them to do better and avoid those mistakes that he's even made in the past. The goal here is to get them interested enough in what you're saying that by the time they know it's an ad, it's not even going to matter. All right, now let's talk about display networks. So Facebook and Google, as I've mentioned a couple times now, both have display networks that allow ads to be shown on unaffiliated websites. So your website might not be owned or affiliated in any way with Facebook, but you can put ads from a Facebook ad network onto your website and make a little bit of money on that, okay? So for instance, if you own a blog about personal fitness, you can opt to show ads on the site and be paid some amount of money each time that someone comes to your site and clicks on that ad to go look at whatever is being advertised, okay? These ads are usually gonna be images, GIFs, or videos, and they're gonna appear in 4 or 5 different places depending on what page we're looking at, okay? So let's talk about a blog just so we can get a full picture of all of the places. Really, you can just kind of have them everywhere if you really want to. It's like toxic for your user experience, but you can have them in the top margin and on the right margin. You can also have them in the middle of your blog. So you can have half your blog an ad and then another half of your blog. You can truly just have them everywhere on the page. Just going back to the eye tracking study though, these are some of the most avoided ads because people know that they're there, because they're accustomed to it, and because of selective attention. So to get around this, you might think that you need to make something super flashy with fireworks and people flying across the screen and GIFs and people like, don't do that. Don't do the crazy stuff, okay? That is the opposite of what you should do. Think about banner ads like Times Square. When you go to Times Square, there's lights everywhere. They're the left and the right and in front of you and behind you, and you don't notice what's on any of them. It's just visual pollution. You don't know what you're looking at. There's so much to look at. You basically drown it out, okay? It's actually better to just boil this down to the basics of an ad. You want 4 things in a good ad. You want your logo so people know who's advertising to them. You want a value proposition so people know why they should care about what you offer. You want an image because that's what draws people in and gets their attention in the first place. And you want a call to action so people know what to do next, okay? That's it. If you have all of those elements, you are golden. So a couple of examples. First, Bluehost. You can see here that yes, they have it in that order in one situation. So they've got the logo, then they've got the value proposition, then they've got the image, then they've got the call to action. That's a great ad. But they also have this other one that is not in the same order, which is also a very good and compelling ad. You don't have many words here to get this message across, much like search ads. In fact, you have fewer, and they have to be bigger so that people see them and are interested in what you have to say. But getting that message across with these 4 elements is really effective with these Bluehost ads in this way. And these are just images. There's no GIF or anything like that associated with it. Active Campaign, also images. This is telling a story about how someone succeeded in huge fashion. 80% open rates is enormous with their product. It still includes all 4 elements. Their logo, the value proposition is the testimonial effectively. The call to action and the image are all there to get people to feel compelled to take that next action. So look, the fact is here that banner blindness is real and it's also evolving. As we get used to a type of ad, we also become blind to that type of ad. And right now, we're kind of stuck with letting the ad platforms like Google and Facebook find creative ways around those blind spots. It's up to us to work within those parameters that we're given to make attention-grabbing ads and kind of break that cycle for ourselves. So I hope that that was helpful for you. Please do let me know if you've done something specific to eliminate blindness. If you've got some secret sauce, I would love to know about it. Or if you found something that's really affecting you with banner blindness that you might need some help with, please ask me. I'm happy to give you my advice on your own ads, etc. Otherwise, if you like this video, make sure that you give it a like, subscribe to my channel if you're into it, and I will catch you in the next one.